Have you ever stopped to think about why you can plug a tiny little desk lamp into the same wall that powers a massive refrigerator? It's not magic. There's actually a hidden system of rules making it all work. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain and demystify the logic behind the voltage all around us, in our homes, our offices, and even out on the highway. So let me start with a question for you. What could your desk lamp possibly have in common with a giant highway light? I know, it sounds like a trick question, right? One's tiny, the other's huge, but believe it or not, they are both governed by the exact same logical framework. The rules they follow are different, for sure, and today we're going to find out exactly why. Okay, so to really get these rules, we've got to start where the rules actually apply, and that's something called the branch circuit. Just think of it as the final stretch of wiring. It's the path electricity takes from your breaker box right to your outlets and your light fixtures. Basically, everything we're about to talk about is happening right there, inside the walls of the buildings we use every single day. So, why do we even have all these different rules in the first place? Well, you'll be happy to know they aren't just random. The entire system is this really carefully designed balancing act between two key things: safety and efficiency. Here's a fantastic way to think about it. Imagine voltage is like water pressure. For your kitchen sink, you want low, gentle pressure, right? Just enough to wash your hands. But to fight a fire, you need an incredible amount of pressure blasting out of a fire hose. Well, electricity works pretty much the same way. The pressure, or the voltage, has to be perfectly matched to the job it's supposed to do. So let's start our journey in the place that's most familiar to all of us, our home. This is where the rules are the absolute strictest, and for a very good reason. The main goal here is maximum safety. And this is the magic number for that safety: 120 volts. It's the standard for most circuits in our homes because, well, it hits the sweet spot. It's powerful enough to run all our daily gadgets, but it's also low enough to seriously reduce the risk of a severe electrical shock. And what I find really fascinating is how specific the code gets about this. This 120-volt rule, it applies in our houses, our apartments, even in hotel rooms. And it's specifically for the stuff we touch and use all the time. Our lamps, those small plug-in things like phone chargers and TVs, and appliances with little motors, like say a fan or a blender. And this really nails the whole philosophy behind it. It's like an electrical safety bubble. The code sets this lower voltage standard precisely where we live and sleep, where we're most likely to be in close contact with our devices. It's all about putting our safety first, above everything else. Okay, now let's step outside the front door and walk into an office building, or a big store, or a warehouse. In these places, the priorities start to shift. Safety is still, of course, super important, but now efficiency becomes a much, much bigger piece of the puzzle. This chart breaks it down perfectly. We're moving from the 120-volt sink faucet we have in our homes, which is all about user safety, to the 277-volt building sprinkler system you find in commercial spaces. This higher voltage, it's a workhorse designed for power efficiency, and it's built to handle much larger electrical loads. So what does this 277-volt workhorse actually do? Well, mostly it's for high-powered lighting. Think of those long, bright rows of LEDs you see in a supermarket or an office. It also runs heavy-duty fixtures and other specialized systems that are designed for that big commercial scale. And here is the real payoff for using that higher voltage. It lets you push more power through thinner and cheaper wires. Now, if you're wiring a massive building, that translates into huge savings. We're talking less copper, less conduit, less labor. It's a classic engineering trade-off. You bump up the voltage to get way more efficiency. All right, so we've gone from the home to the office. Now for the last step on our little journey, the kind of massive power it takes to light up our public infrastructure. This is where things get really, really powerful. We're now talking about circuits that can run at up to 1,000 volts AC. Just to put that in perspective, that's more than 8 times the voltage you have in your living room outlet. This is serious power for some very serious jobs. And for direct current systems, which, by the way, are becoming more and more common, the limit is even higher. We're talking up to 1,500 volts DC. This is the kind of power that makes lighting up huge outdoor spaces even possible. And you see this power in action every single day. It's what's lighting up our highways or bridges, stadium fields, tunnels, you name it. But of course, with great power comes a really strict safety rule. The code manages the risk with a simple solution. Just put it out of reach. These fixtures have to be mounted at least 22 feet up on a pole or 18 feet up on something like a tunnel, keeping all that voltage safely away from people. So the crucial point here is that the balance has completely flipped. For this kind of large-scale infrastructure, the number one priority is massive efficiency, blasting power to huge lights over really long distances. Safety isn't ignored, not at all. It's just handled with a different strategy, physical separation. So we've journeyed from a 120-volt lamp all the way to a 1,000-volt highway light. And I know it might seem really complex, but when you zoom out, you start to see this beautifully simple, logical framework behind it all. It all boils down to just asking 3 questions. Number 1, where is it? Number 2, what's it doing? And number 3, based on that context, what's the right balance between safety and efficiency? Whether we're talking about a house, an office, or a highway, this is the exact same logic the code uses every single time. And this right here is probably the most important thing to take away from all this. Please don't think of the electrical code as some boring book of random rules. Think of it as a dynamic, intelligent system for managing risk. It's designed to give us the power we need, exactly where we need it, and to do it in the safest way possible. So, next time you flick on a light switch at home or you're driving under a brightly lit overpass at night, just take a second to think about those invisible rules that are at play. Now that you know the logic behind it all, what part of our electrified world suddenly makes a whole lot more sense to you?